Hey there everybody, how's it going? Nightshade here from IvD Gaming, and with another excellent replay. And of course, it is the holiday season, so what not better than grab a replay pack, even though it is a bit of an old one, and to crank out a couple of replays and give them to you. Of course, our hero for the day, ladies and gentlemen, with a Team IvD, of course, down to the bottom left-hand corner here on Derelict Watcher, is Apocalypse. And his opponent up in the top right-hand corner, the BM Pro himself, formerly from Team Evil Geniuses. I believe, in fact, actually at the casting of this game as well as still currently, he is teamless. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Idra. And, yeah, a little bit of controversy with Idra. I mean, this game was played back in May, so this would have been fresh after he actually was just released. But no big deal. He's still actually a big proponent, a big supporter of esports. Yes, he is a little BM on the ladder. Yeah, he's got a bit of an attitude, and rightfully so. He's an exceedingly good player. He spent time in Korea. He's a world-class StarCraft champion. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's fair to say, you know, yeah, he's BM, but you know what? He's a great guy. I've met him in person. He's really pleasant actually to speak with, very polite, very well mannered, and you'd be hard pressed to find somebody as pleasant as him to be around. Anyway, nonetheless, Apocalypse is going to be like, screw you, you're not going to be able to throw down that hatch just quite so quickly, and he's going to do everything in his power to inhibit this from occurring. Of course, you could see Idra's micro quite good as well, and I think Engineering Bay is going to go down insufficiently. A corner of it at least will stop Idra from being able to throw down that hatch. And you can see Apocalypse wants to get as much construction done on this as humanly possible. As you can see the little rings on the units, you can tell when they're actually controlling the actual unit that is running around. And you can see Apocalypse actually keeping this SCV down with even 10 hit points of health. However, that being said, that is 2 hits away from a drone. That's 5 hit points per shot. So he's got to be really careful with this SCV. He's not going to be able to send it over to this Engineering Bay to do any more work. But I'm sure Idra is probably a little bit frustrated with all of that. And eBay blocks are a pretty good way of setting back a Zerg player from taking those fast hatches. Of course, what do we see out of Apocalypse? He has, of course, taken his barracks, as well as a gas right behind it, and is going to continue on with his build. I'm sure that we will expect a Reaper out and then an expansion behind that. That is a fairly standard opener. As you can see, Lings are finally on the map here for Idra. That's going to help speed things up a great deal. And Idra is floating, of course, a good bit of economy. I wouldn't be surprised if he expands out twice here just to try and compensate for the fact that his first hatch was really well, to be perfectly honest, quite late. And, whoa, where are you going, little buddy? There you go. You're going in the right direction, and that drone is going to go down and into a hatch. And a Reaper is going to show on up. It's going to take a quick peek. See, okay, yep, hatch is up. This is expected. It's going to pop it up into the high ground here. Of course, you're going to see a Queen. And this is going to be pretty much it for harass. This is a very hard base to do any main harassing. Yes, you can go up this edge here, but that's pretty much it. There's not many other options here. I don't even think you can jump up and down this left edge here because of this bubble. So kind of difficult here for Apocalypse to do any continued harass. He's just going to get a lot of free shots off onto this hatchery. Of course, they don't have quite the grenades like they had back in Wings of Liberty, so going to be hard for them to take down buildings. If you guys remember, Mass Reaper were pretty good at dropping buildings very quickly because of their grenades that they had. So, but they're just going to shoot away, and yeah, you can see Queens are coming down the ramp. They're just basically waiting for the creep to explode out of this hatch. There we go, and now that there is some creep, they can move a little bit faster on the creep and really dissuade these Reapers from doing it, especially with their +5 range, if memory serves me right. Yes, it is. They're 5 range missile attacks that they can use against these Reapers. So, yeah, pretty much, this is kind of the situation we're in, where there's a whole pile of Reapers parked out front. Idra does have his other hatch up and running, although I don't think Apocalypse has seen it just quite yet. Apocalypse is setting himself up for a double expansion. I'll show you guys in just a minute here. Of course, we do have his vision here as he's looking up the map here, trying to figure out exactly how he's going to break it. But it's more just to stop the Queens from throwing down creep tumors, from expanding on out, and connecting these two bases together. That's the big thing. Additionally, he doesn't want a Queen actually walking its way over. And if he's able to snipe one, that's going to be really good. Of course, he's got to be very careful. He's going to lose a couple of Reapers in the process, but I think it was worthwhile. I mean, it could have been worse, but it could have been better at the same time. But what we do, of course, have is a third up here ready to go, and, of course, the natural has been taken now. And Apocalypse is still doing pretty good. You know, he's a little bit behind the worker count, 34 to 28, but he's doing okay. I mean, he's been able to hold good map control up until this particular point in time. And, of course, speaking of map control, Reaper's trying to get out of this predicament that they're in. They're going to have to run for those lives with the Lings right behind them. They're going to have to jump down this edge over here if they're going to stand a chance. Indeed, they do get on out of there. Thank goodness. They are unbelievably low on health as the combat drugs start to kick in and take effect. And what we do see, of course, is Idra's expansion up and running. He's looking very, very good indeed. He's now starting to macro, is going to balloon out of control. He's now 49 workers, 47, I stand corrected. Army supplies are the same, 14 for both players, but Lings are now out on the map here. They do not have speed, or I stand corrected, they do have speed. It is an upgrade that has just finished. Lings are going to work their way up, and they're going to get one shot and move their way on out. No, they're going to back right on up here, so things looking pretty good all in all. Infernal Pre-Igniter, which is the blue flame for the Hellions, but more importantly for the Hellbats. And we do see actually an armory going down as well as another factory. So it looks like it's going to be a mech-based play out of Apocalypse. Nice to see. Of course, he is capable of doing bio plays as well. And but in this particular game, he's going to go with a mech play. Mech is pretty good against Zerg. Not so great against Protoss, especially in the recent incarnation of the recent patch upgrades, even with a little bit of a buff there is. Now, this is a little bit of an older version, guys and girls, so the big one is that there's no combined upgrades for the air attack. So if he's planning on doing any air attack, Apocalypse is going to have to contend with the fact that it's not combined like it currently is, so it's not going to be as easy. Ling is getting a pretty good surround here, catching a lot of these Hellions, but a lot of them are getting roasted in the process here. Of course, Blue Flame has completed here, and as you can see, they do a little bit of a bonus against Light now, and there we go. They're going to get more and more work done. Blue Flame Hellions, pretty good unit. And again, they're going to work their way back up. And this is actually a great ploy. This is doing two things. One, he's able to get a quick peek as to see what's going on. Yeah, he might lose some Hellions here, but Hellion Reaper is actually a pretty good combo here. And off creep, they can hold their own pretty well against these Speedlings. But the big thing he's actually doing is he's forcing Idra to spend a lot of his larvae on units and not on continued drone production and on expansions and such like that and on macroing. He's now tied up at 68 right now, whereas right now Apocalypse is trying to get everything up and running. So he's at 47 workers. His third is floating on over. I don't think this Overlord is going to spot it. It's a fair ways away. It's not going to be able to see it. However, this Overlord did get a good thorough scout of the base, and if we do see Idra's vision is actually pretty good. He knows exactly what he's going to have to deal with. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him switching on over to roaches and such. And yeah, we can see, of course, Lair is going down here. And if we do take a look quickly around the base, we do, of course, have the Roach Warren. We have double upgrades, missile attacks, as well as Carapace going down as well. The hatch, of course, there's another hatch somewhere. I'm trying to find it. It's not giving it to me, though. There it is. And yep, so he's going to have a macro hatch as well on top of his 3 base. So he's going to have a lot of production here, and he's at that magical number for workers. So Idra's going to be able to snowball fairly soon here. He's got 79 drones, so all larvae from this point on is going to go directly into unit manufacturing. And we see actually double hatches going down here. So Apocalypse in a lot of trouble once those get up and running, because Idra will have so many larvae that they can actually do so much damage and just crank out units, just non-stop crank out units. As long as he has economy, he'll be able to use larvae like nobody's business. And as you can see, Reapers and Hellions pretty good against taking down even a hatch, even with sufficient numbers. Able to get a quick kill, actually, as they see that the Roaches are finally showing up. Roaches do not have speed yet. Glial reconstitution is about halfway done, so it's going to be a little bit of time. But a quick pickup of a couple of Hellions, or rather Hellbats, is going to scout, going to see that there's a couple of Roaches and a Queens waiting for them. So he's like, no, I'm going to turn that around and take it on back. Third is up and running now as well, and he's going to have that 63 workers almost finishing up. So, well, at least finishing up production here, and 66 workers now, so he's catching up. That's the big thing here. I should also point out his army supply is going to also skyrocket a little bit. As the economy continues to go up, he's going to start solidifying his foundation. As you can see, missile turret up front. If you guys are wondering what this is for, believe it or not, it's for detection. He doesn't want any Roach Burrow working its way on over and becoming an issue. Muscular Augments is also going down. Roach Hydra, pretty good units, especially against mech, so it's the right play. Creep is getting out there, but again, not crazy far. This has been inhibited by the fact that Apocalypse has been doing a lot of aggression here, and this has been tying up the Queens in defense. So this is becoming a bit of an issue. As you can see, a quick pickup as well of a couple of Hellbats. If this medevac is not careful, it is going to go down. 8 health points on it. It does ultimately fall. Likewise with the Hellbats, with getting a couple of shots up, but not enough. And again, Hellions are going to work their way on in here, see if they can catch themselves a couple of drone kills, trying to do some economic damage. And they are going to line up a couple of the drones and are ultimately going to get some shots off, getting some kills, but dying at the same time, which is, I don't know if that was really quite worthwhile. If you do take out the resources lost tab, actually, yeah, you can actually see that Idra is actually on the units on the losing tab here. Is at 3,600 resources lost and 92 units in total. Oh my goodness, I can barely speak. I'm just going a mile a minute. He's saying this is effing stupid. I don't know why he's saying this. I mean, he's doing a great job. Certainly, Idra has himself quite a lead. There was a drop over here on the other side of the map by a couple of Hellbats, getting a couple of drone kills, trying to clean things up as well. And really, Apocalypse right now is just trying to contain Idra back. Workers killed so far is actually pretty good, 21 in total. And all these little pokes and prods are actually doing quite a bit of damage here. There's an Overlord here that will get cleaned up, and but the creep is going to take a little while to recede. But you can see there's, oh my gosh, there's a lot of Marines. And that is a pretty good counter here to Roach Hydra. It's like DPS versus DPS. Who can come out ahead? 1-1 upgrades in for the Marines. Stim is about halfway finished. Combat Shield as well. I stand corrected. Not Combat Shield. That's +2, +2. +2 is also on the way here, though, for Idra. And Idra's forces are pretty good. And, of course, this is a great composition against this kind of thing, where he's going to have the Muscular Augments done. He's going to have Roach Speed. He's got Hydra Speed off creep. He's got Vipers, so of course you can see using the consumability to be able to get as much energy as possible before they depart. And he's really waiting on this. This is kind of the only check and balance ultimately, is that they can only feed so quickly. So once they get their energy up though, and be able to throw down a couple of blinding clouds, that's going to do a lot of damage. But if we do take a look, there's some defensive structures going down. We have command centers; those will be converted over to planetary fortresses. Tanks are going to go on up and siege on up as quickly as possible. However, blinding clouds do go down, so they're rendered completely ineffective. And as you can see, Marines trying to get out of the blinding clouds as well. Idra pushing on forward. Oh my gosh, so many blinding clouds everywhere. All of these units pretty much completely useless until they're out of those clouds, and finally getting a lot of shots off. But Roach Hydra looking so strong here as Idra is going to push on forward, and all of these units are going to melt. And Roach Hydra here, just getting all these kills, and Idra looking so good. Looks like he's confused. He doesn't know where he's going, but it does decide that he's going to go take on this fourth base, and of course the scan is going to go down, buying Apocalypse the necessary time to be able to try and get a force together here. I don't know if it's the right amount of units that he's going to need to be able to take on such a large force of Roach Hydras with those 2-2 upgrades, but 3-3 is started here, so 2-2 Marines, pretty good units. Siege tanks are going to siege up on the bottom of the ramp. Without the support of the Vipers, this is going to be a little hard for Idra to be able to take on because of the DPS of these Marines stemming on forward, trying to get as much damage as they can, but with good numbers, Idra looking pretty good, I've got to say, and Apocalypse is going to at least hold for now. He saved the day. Okay, yeah, he lost a lot there, but all in all, not so bad. Of course, he is now on the losing side of things. 1,000 resources, or rather 10,000 resources lost as opposed to 8,000 by Idra. But like I said, Idra is now on, count them, 1, 2, and 3 base economy. His natural, yeah, there's a couple of piles left, but there's not much there. It's just the gas that he's working off that. But he does have these couple of additional macro hatches, which are going to be great. And of course, he's expanding on out, but that is going to get sniped and taken care of fairly quickly, as he's going to continue to fly across the map. And there is a large bioforce here, but strategically placed overlords are going to reveal that. Of course, creep is also going to be there as well. Creep, if you did not know, does not provide vision. It's actually the creep tumors that do. But that overlord dropping is going to give a bit of an insight as to exactly where these forces are located. There is a drop ready to go over here. It is pushing on in. And it is going to get dropped off behind. There's a couple of cancels of some spores or spines. I can't recall which they were. But the forces of Idra are going to show on up and kill it off so unbelievably quickly. But a couple of workers were killed. I don't know if it was an even trade, but certainly a couple. However, this is where the business end of the things is, and this is the pointy end of the sword doing a lot of damage here. Taking care of both of those hatches. Of course, they're immediately going to get thrown down as well. And yeah, those Bridlings are going to get killed off as well, and away they go. So a good harass here by Apocalypse, trying to even things up. He is still behind, believe it or not. He's behind in his army supply, 126 to 119 in the favor of Idra. Apocalypse, oh gosh, he's going to have a hard day here, but he's got a lot of siege tanks, but there are a good number of very healthy, well-fed Vipers in this, guys. And as they push on down, a Blinding Cloud is going to go down. A couple of Vipers are knocked out of the skies here, but I don't know if it's been quite enough. There's a lot of Marines here to try and help on out. All they have to do is hold for at least a short period of time until the tanks can start firing away. And as the Blinding Clouds fall off, they are able to start working away, but I don't think it's enough. There is no buffer left. Idra looking so strong as he pushes on 4. However, all of these siege tanks are going to get a lot of shots off, and that is going to be enough because there is a big freaking counter going on. It has already mopped up this base over on the left-hand side, and it is now pushing up and into the natural here of Idra. However, they are horribly overstimmed. There is no energy on these medevacs. They are going to pick on up, almost a perfect pickup. Full load of Marines on both of these medevacs as they fly on out of here, saving the lives of so many of them. So few letters will be written to families of this Marine right here. This guy right here. His family doesn't get a letter right now. Well, maybe later on in the game he will, but we'll find out. And we do, of course, see Roaches and Hydras going to work their way on over the long way, over towards this base on the left-hand side of the map. What we do see, though, of course, is it getting picked up. It's not going to get anywhere. It's just going to fall out of the sky in just a second. Don't you worry. And yeah, this is what happens when they get enough shots off. Oh my gosh, he's actually going to let it burn. Nope, there we go, and it does crash and burn. Okay, how does a wheel come out of that? All right. Anyway, I don't know, sometimes I kind of confused as to where they get the little parts and stuff. Good play by Idra, unfortunately catching some of his units out of position here, and that's not going to be good for them because there's a little bit down here ready to take care of them. How's he going to get out of this predicament, though? And the very debris pile he knocked down, he's going to have to take out in order to rescue these units out of there. Nope. He sees the Marines, the tanks, he's like, screw it, I'm out of here. And he's probably cursing himself for that, but whatever, it's all good. Idra is now currently supply blocked, as there is a drop going on over here. It does take care of a couple of overlords as well as some structures and moving on out. And what we do see over is a lot of Vipers, a lot of Roach, Hydra as well. +3, fully upgraded, +3/+3 versus +3/+3 Marine and Tank. Of course, tanks, pretty good unit with 3 attack. They are definitely a good unit. Of course, you can see randomly sieging them, so you have to use more and more Blinding Clouds in order to be able to get the same result. And as you can see, buffering on back here again, Blinding Clouds are going to go down on a couple of the tanks as well as Marine piles. However, there's a stream of units coming on over. Tanks in the back aren't getting a lot of shots off. There we go. And the Roach Hydra mix is going to continue to push on forward. But as I said, this Blinding Cloud composition has been doing a very good job of neutering these tanks and making them effectively useless. And as you can see, the Hydras and the Roaches are going to push on forward and take care of all of them. And Apocalypse is in a huge retreat, but he does have this drop play going on, and it has been doing a lot of damage, but unfortunately it is going to work its way on down here. And but his focus primarily is trying to hold on to this base here. And in fact, as we continue to lose buildings and structures like that, and the planetary fortress is going to have to fly on out of there, or rather the command center. 2 PFs down here is going to do a pretty good job of defending this. So he's not going to have any major problems. He does not have the armor upgrade, though, just quite yet on it. But there's a steady stream of units from Idra as he's trying to deal with this. He's trying to get a seal to deal with Apocalypse, but Apocalypse not wanting to give on up. The Korean player for IvD Gaming doing a great job, just continuing to harass and take advantage of the map. And you can see he's just going to continue to push on forward here, dropping off a lot of units here. He's trying to snipe these darn Vipers and getting them taken care of here. Going to catch himself a couple of Hydra head kills before they ultimately will fall. And yeah, that'll pretty much do it for those guys. You know, it was nice to know you. You're just now a blood smear on the creep. Sorry. But that did pull a lot of units out of position, more specifically the Vipers. And you can see Large bio push is going to shove its way down onto the ramp here. Going to push its way back here, and Roach Riders have shown up. Vipers have shown up. Blinding Cloud going down. We've seen this before. And, yeah, this is going to get taken care of fairly well, as we do see this ultimately getting cleaned up. Yeah, there we are. Yep, Viper's pretty good unit. Blinding Cloud, even better ability. Roach Riders are going to take care of it. A lot of bio here, trying to do as much damage as they can. Yeah, he's going to have to back on up, even despite the fact that there is an orbital command floating its way on over here, as you can see. No, it's been canceled. It's going to fly away back. He's like, nope, screw it. Idra really wants to hold this corner, and he's going to use that consume ability on those Vipers. And again, really both players sticking with the same tech tree. I'm kind of interested to see how each of them is going to obtain victory, because the reality is that they kind of figured each other out. And Apocalypse is going to try to do as much harass damage as he can. But Apocalypse has been doing a great job of shutting down economy. And that's a big thing that Idra's been having a really hard time managing right now. He's already lost 60 workers in total throughout this entire game. You could see he has no economy in his third, none in his natural, none in his main. There's a drop going on in his main. In fact, Apocalypse has been able to maintain his economy. He has one going on here with a pile of mules working away. And in fact, if we look at the economy tab, he's got 2,400 minerals a minute pouring in, despite the fact that these mules are getting a shot at by two roaches. However, this small force up and in the main of Idra's is doing a little bit of damage here. But not to say, though, that Idra has not been doing a lot of damage of his own. One planetary fortress going down. Of course, this planetary fortress had the blinding cloud on it, so it wasn't able to wage any shots off. But a lot of repairs going down on this PF to try to keep it alive, because this is really the only good mining base that currently is up and running for Apocalypse. This one has been doing some work, of course. Some Marines and Marauders were brought on over to take care of the roaches to try and keep it up and running so these mules can continue to do some work. And then that being said, there is a drop going on up and in the main, and it's just been able to clean up so much. But it's been killing off a lot of tech, and as we can see, there's not a whole lot left. In fact, it's just this Roach Warren, I think, at this particular point in time. And yeah, that's it. They can only make Ultras and Vipers, and that's it. Idra was defeated. No GG out of him. Don't you worry, Idra, we got you covered. My name is Nightshade from IvD Gaming, and of course, check out Apocalypse at ivdgaming.com. Take care. Bye.